Hello and welcome to Flory Models book review time. And who doesn't like a nice book, reference book, guide, the usual bits and pieces to modelling? Of course, you can get all of this lot online. I'm acutely aware of it because certain projects, but there has to be something said when you've got a book. Flicking through the inspiration which you can draw from it. So, for instance, down here in front of us, we've got the Rafale. We've got the Corsair, and obviously we've got a Phantom. But again, you might be thinking, oh, I fancy doing a Phantom. If you want to get inspired to super detail your model and just to take it that extra step, having a flick through one of these works absolutely fantastic. And I have got quite a vast collection of these books, pretty much all of them, and other people's as well. And I just find them invaluable when I'm modeling, just to have a book, a reference. So much easier than it is searching Google for images and walkthroughs and things like that. Then some of them just doesn't give you what you need. These books are normally specifically designed for that sort of modeler, or definitely an enthusiast in mind. So they take pictures of what we need to know about. So good clear cockpits, wheel wells, all the bits and pieces you're likely to find as a modeler are down in here. So we've got 4 books today with you. We've basically got the history of the Hellenic air dominance fighters as well, which we'll have a look at the moment. Then we've actually got 3 guidebooks. All right. So as you can see, just down in here, we'll do the air dominance one afterwards, but to start with, we have got the Rafale guide. All right, so this is the F3R version of this one. I've got to say, John Lakers, I think that's your name, he does an amazing job on these books. And again, they call them the ultimate guide reference, and I have to agree with them. They are just something really, really good and very, very interesting. Not only are the photos gorgeously clean and sharp, like I said, it shows you everything you might want as a modeler anyway. So anyway, usual thing, we got, let me just move that one out of the way. Beautiful, beautiful pictures, as you can probably see. If you just need inspiration, a head-on shot of a Rafale, it's hard to beat, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And again, a little bit obviously about it and about the group and all the rest of it. And obviously it's not just talking about the Greek ones in here, this is talking about all the ones in service with various air arms around the world. All right, so again, various ones, different versions of them as well, so you pretty much got everything you could ever want. But it's great for looking at weathering, the details, shots, as you say, down in here on the strike pod for the actual targeting pod. Again, just the weathering and how that works and how it sort of interacts with airflow and things like that. Some of the streets going down, some of them going backwards. Again, just doing all those little details are fantastic. So down in here, we've got various shots. Overall ones, beautiful camo as well, with the Qatari one. Lovely job on that with the camo. And again, got down in here the actual sniper pod. Again, beautiful reference shots on that all the way through. Let me go to a bigger one. Gorgeous big open shots. Again, bursting with inspiration, as you might imagine, all the way through. Then if we skip a little bit ahead, then we get into the details of the actual one. So again, from a walk around point of view, you've got everything. We've got the textured strips, for the sort of, the non-slip steps on here and all the rest of it, all the various lumps, bumps, and you name it, it is covered beautifully down in here. Obviously the cockpit in detail, so you can see exactly what you need to do with your painting and your weathering guides. You're not going to get any better than this. So again, it is your usual complete walkthrough, absolutely everything as you might imagine down in here. So it looks absolutely gorgeous. And again, all the details right the way down to the zigzag joining that they have as well on the trailing edge of the wings. It is absolutely gorgeous. All your gear, beautiful angles for all your gear and stuff like that. So again, gorgeous. So anyway, that is the Aviation Guide 1. Right the way through on this one. So again, very, very nice done. These are all done by Eagle Aviation, I do believe. All right, so that's that one. Next up, Aviation Guide 2 is on the Corsair. And again, right the way through US Navy, and obviously the Hellenic one's down in here as well. And this, to be honest, as a Cold War fan, this is the one that pricked my interest. I was flicking through this one the other night and I couldn't put it down. Literally, I was going through and, we're talking about inspiration on this. As you can see, the weathering down in here in these yellows, and things as it's got them down in here as well. It's a type of weathering where if you saw it on a model, you think it was wrong, but then you see it on the real thing and you think, oh, do you know what? That's really very, very nice indeed. But generally, just as I say, even on a classic aircraft like that, like look at the weathering under there. That's just mega. All right. But again, it gives you a better appreciation and understanding of weathering aircraft, having a picture like this. And again, it's next to you. You can use it as your reference as you're painting and you're planning your builds and things like that. Absolutely fantastic. Hellenic Corsair, don't think it gets any better than that when it comes to weather. Like, look at that. That's just brilliant. All right, right the way through. So again, some very, very nice ones. The scratching. Again, things like this is that you don't have an appreciation of. Let me just stop that a moment. So as you can see, looking very, very nice all the way through. We've got the gun down in there, we've got the radar, and as you might imagine, it's full walkthrough as well. So we've got all the cockpits, just as we've seen in all the other books. As you imagine, beautiful details all the way through, right the way through to the gear and the weaponry and all the bits and pieces that the actual jets carry. And again, at the back, you've normally got the bits on the weapons, I think, and stuff. Look at that gorgeous one with it all opened up with the engine out. So again, some very, very nice look, detailed into it. And there we go, weapons and fits, and again, little things like chips out of the fire coating on the bombs and stuff like that. Again, just the weathering and the various things on these, the state of these rock eyes. You wouldn't think they'd be that dirty. But there we go. You say the tank with the scratches on. This is what we're talking about. It is beautifully done. Anyway, that is Aviation Guide number 2. All right. So obviously that's the A7E Corsair. Last up for now, we've got the actual Guide 3, which obviously this is one for the F4E Phantom. So it's the long nose one. This one is all about the Hellenic ones as well, because obviously this is, if you haven't gathered already, a Greek author going right the way through these. And as you can see, again, like, you just don't need, I've got lots of books on the Phantom. I have to admit, I am that person, but I just never get tired of it. And there's got different angles on this and showing different pictures and things, like this one underneath here as well. This is the underside of the intake with the details down in there. Again, beautifully done, very, very nicely done on there. And just generally walking through the entire aircraft, warts and all, as you might expect. We've got all your gear and everywhere you might imagine from a modelling point of view we'll be interested in, especially around the clamshell, as I call it, around the tail, with all the different things going down in there. We've got the parachute area, all of them, as you can see, beautiful. We've got the gorgeous J79 engine. Yeah, beautiful, very, very nice indeed. All right, so again, weaponry and all the rest of it, beautiful one, lovely shot, belly shot down in there as a Phantom as well. So there we go, that is your guide. So that's Aviation Guide 3 on this one, and again, it's all through Eagle Aviation. Last up, really nice hardback book. This is a very nice one indeed, and this one is talking about the 1975 to 2025. So obviously it's 50 years of the Hellenic Air Force, right the way through. And again, it goes right the way through all the aircraft types, from the Mirage F1, and then obviously I think we go through to the Mirage 2000s down in here, or different Mirage F3s, and all the rest of it. So we've got the Mirage 2000. And again, this one's not sort of much a warts and all, though it's got lovely pictures all the way through it as well. The Mirage 2005, and then obviously different versions right the way through. Then I imagine we're probably coming over to the next one. Which one is the next one? We've got the Rafale entering service, which obviously I think they're all in service now. I think they've all been delivered. So again, beautiful looks at the Rafale. Some different photos in there from the other book as well. And again, really very, very nice indeed. And again, some very nice atmospheric, gorgeous photos all the way through on this one. So yeah, what's not to love about it? So again, really very, very nice indeed. So if you are in for some reference books, or you just need a bit of inspiration, again, Eagle Aviation, just look that one up. I'll link all the details down below in the review, the IBAN numbers and things like that for them as well. And that way you can have a look through and see what will get your attention. For me personally, these are an absolute must, and I love a good book and a really nice coffee table one to boot as well. Anyway, thank you very much as well to the actual publisher for giving me these ones when I was over at the SMC as well, and allowing me to review them and have a good flick through them. But I'm definitely going to be using these in my future builds.